everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, I am going to be talking to Anthonia Akitunde of MaterMea. And thank you for joining me, first of all, Anthonia.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem. And I am just so excited to tell everybody else what I already know and what I enjoy so much about MaterMea. So just let the audience know what MaterMea is.
Yeah. MaterMea is a website that celebrates working women of color at the intersection of career and families. So we do long profiles covering some women that you may know, like Rhonda Ross, Diana Ross's daughter, or Stacey Ann Chin, the poet and activist, and some women who you may not have heard of but are, phenomenal in their own rights. We've had women from all walks of life, all family backgrounds on the site, and we really want to create a space where Black women's stories are being told in particular.
And what I love so much about it is when I read the stories and I see the stories, I see myself, and not just because the women look like me, but because, like you said, some of them are known names, but some of them are just women on the move. And it's just so relatable. So tell me what inspired you to create the publication.
Yeah, so I was kind of looking for women to be inspired by and to relate to. I started the site in 2012, around the time that everyone was talking about leaning in and can women have it all. And I was really interested in these conversations, being 27, 28 at the time, and realizing, okay, this is the time where you're supposed to find the man, and you're supposed to have the career, and you're supposed to have the babies. What does that look like? And what it looked like from the media's perspective was really, really white, which I am not.
Right.
And also very much, and also being at the very top of your career, which at that point I was a little bit above entry level. So I wanted to find women who looked like me, who had, career paths that closely mirrored mine, or at least could potentially show me a track that seemed more accessible than, hello, I am the chief operating officer of Facebook. This is how I did it.
Right.
It's like, okay, that's
sounds
enviable.
That might not happen for me. So.
Right. How do I get there? So yeah, it first started out as a bi-monthly online magazine where I had these, interviews that I wasn't seeing anywhere else with women who inspired me in New York, and it has since expanded to become a regular website. So updating more than 2 times a month, more like several times a week. And sharing stories from women all over the country and now the world.
So you started this while you were still working. So tell me a little bit about how it was to start this publication while you already had, a full-time job.
Yeah, it was really, 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 really hard. I am of the sort, as most of us are, who don't have a trust fund or don't have independent wealth or a cushion to fall back on. So I really needed to be working. And at first I thought of MaterMea as a passion project, something that was self-funded, but I didn't mind because I just wanted to see it. And it seemed that so many other people wanted to see it, that it was, worth the sacrifice. I never thought of myself as an entrepreneur. I was always very mercenary with my skill set, which is writing. So it's just like, pay me and I'll be fine. And so the more work I was putting into it, the more I was realizing, you actually are an entrepreneur. This is actually a business and you need to treat it as such. So initially, I was working on MaterMea in the times when I wasn't at my job. And of the last couple of jobs that I've had have been the 24/7 expectation kind of job. So it was really hard. And it led to me feeling like I was sucking at both of my jobs. So I was sucking at MaterMea and I was sucking at, the people who paid.
On-call writing, we need this.
Yeah, exactly. The ones who wrote the checks. So, at the best possible scenario during those, 3 to 4 years, I was, sucking at either one of those jobs. I didn't really feel like I was succeeding and meeting any kind of goal besides just, doing the bare minimum to keep the site going. And it got to a point where I was just tired of seeing other people do what I wanted to do and not giving myself permission to make the changes necessary to make MaterMea happen. So this year, I made it my mission to save up a certain amount of dollars to be able to live. I saved up like about 6 months rent to support myself while I was trying to get MaterMea from passion project to business. And also set up a few clients because I'm a freelance writer on the side to support me while I was doing that. So, everyone tells you to make the jump. You have to have skin in the game. If you don't, care enough to be working on it full time, then why should someone support you is something that I've read a lot in my, how do you entrepreneur Google search. And so it was just finally advice that I had to take for myself because I was just getting into a point where I could see where I wanted MaterMea to go, and just working on it, early in the morning and late at night wasn't going to get
wasn't going to cut it. And I really thank you for being transparent with us about that, because a lot of people, like you say, even guru types, they give this advice like, oh, you want to be free, pursue your passion. But it takes some preparation, to do that. And you have responsibilities. And like you said, you're adulting now. So it's like, I can't just, be out here, winging it. I have to have a plan. So, thanks for being honest about that. And tell me how, just as a freelance writer and as being at one point in time a staff writer, how does it feel now to look at something you've created and just actually own your own media? What is that like?
Yeah, it's really amazing. Like there's really no other way to describe it. The biggest thing that I love is that what I see on the site, I didn't have to prove to someone else that it needs to be on the site. I just have a thought that, this is something that I'm really interested in. I think our readers would be interested in. Let's go with it. A lot of the places I've worked in the past are majority white. So, they're a little late to the game on covering some things because either they don't have a Black person on staff telling them that this is of interest to my community and people will read it, or they do have a person on staff like I was for a really long time, but they need to see like a viral explosion of interest into this. So like when white people discover it, now it's a news story.
Now it's interesting. Now it's
or like when it applies to more than one community. Yeah, let's get on it now. So I love that, I've noticed, and I tweeted this earlier today, but travel noir has a lot to do with this, but everyone is talking about Black people traveling and wanting to explore the world outside of the United States, especially considering, police brutality and the really negative realities of living in the United States. And we had a profile of a mom who was living in Philadelphia and decided to move to Japan to raise her son. And that had so much conversation. Like I want to say the most conversation I've ever seen generated in a MaterMea profile was from this woman's decision to up and leave and go to Japan. And so seeing that exchange of ideas and comments, I was like, we should have a Black Moms Abroad series. Like we should talk to Black women who are, from the United States and have decided to live the expat life and raise their kids abroad. And that has become such a big driver of traffic and interest on our page. And I think if I were working for, let's say like a lifestyle company that was majority white, and I pitched that, it would either be diluted to like, oh, let's just cover all moms who are living abroad and not necessarily touching on the uniqueness of being a Black woman and making that choice. Or,
all moms matter.
All women matter, all moms matter, exactly. Or just like, nah, that's okay. Or that's, let's not make it a series, let's do a one-off. So yeah. I like that kind of control.
Yeah, and I love that you have that creative freedom, because I've definitely, benefited from it. And especially even in that series, looking at it, being married to a first generation Nigerian American, the thought of, hey, let's just move to Nigeria has totally crossed my mind. So to see a profile of a woman living in Ghana and doing it before ever having experienced Africa before, really helped me personally. So
that's great to hear.
Yeah. So I really love the content. And talking about that freedom, I've noticed, and what I appreciate about MaterMea is the inclusivity. Black women are complex. We aren't one thing, even though sometimes we see the media, portray us in these boxes. And you're very inclusive to all women, whether they're single, married, a part of the LGBTQ community. So tell me, is that intentional?
Yeah, that's definitely been the mission, just because I believe that Blackness is, diffused. Like, there's so many different ways of being Black. There isn't just one way of experience Blackness and living Blackness. We're not monolith. And, something that I've incurred personally and then also experienced just from running the site is that people, including Black people, have very set ideas of what Blackness means. And so to kind of upend those theories, upend those boxes and those stereotypes, I think is really important to see. We come in all shades, we come in all experiences. There's no one right way to be a mom. There's no one right way to be a career woman. There's no one right way to be Black. So I really also felt as though that inclusivity wasn't something that I was seeing in other Black media as well. There's just, again, there's a dearth of women who feel as though they're not being represented, or like they can't relate to media that's being produced for them or for whatever category they're in. So I try to show that, like, it's
and and representation matters. And
right.
I just feel like, just from being able to see all these women, no matter where they are in life, whether they're known, unknown, gay, straight, we have these same challenges. And so tell me, what are, a common lesson, or, the major thing that you see from interviewing all these different women that you've learned from these profiles?
Yeah, I think the one that stands out for me is this idea of having it all is, not real. A thing that moms say a lot is, like, you can have it all, but you can't have it all at the same time, which I love, because it's really easy to buy into this idea that, like, oh, if I just do this, that, and the other all at the same time, I will be living my best life possible. And it just doesn't work that way.
Even the first lady, I've heard her say that. Even Michelle Obama has said died at the same time. So
yeah, right. Which is really comforting to hear, because I'm not a mom yet. I just got engaged, and it's easy to see, or easy to think that, these role models have it all figured out, and, like, I'll never be able to approach what they have, or, it takes X to get to where they're at. And they'll tell you, like, nope, I do not have it all figured out. It may look like it, but another lesson is that I have a huge community helping me do this. So, it's not just one woman doing all of this. She has a whole gang behind her, helping her raise her kids, making sure that she gets from point A to point B. If she's someone who has an assistant or a nanny or a babysitter, or, her mom lives in the same city or lives next door or at home. Like, there's so many different elements to this idea of having it all, or just to this idea of being alive and working and trying to make things happen for yourself and then your family as well.
And so we've learned that, I definitely have that takeaway too from reading these stories and just being inspired to say, okay, I can do this. And so I definitely think, mission accomplished on that front. And so tell me what's next for MaterMea, and where do you see it going this year and beyond?
Yeah. So this year, now that I am fully into working on it full time, I'm being a little bit more intentional about my goals for the site. So I definitely would love to have more content on the site. I'm working with our writers to create the type of things that people want to see beyond the profiles that everyone has grown to love. There'll definitely be community building aspects of future endeavor. So like more events is something that I would love to do to bring this online community into the real world. And also something that I've heard from women is just like there's no space, there's no real world space for us to connect. There's also no online space for us to connect and have these conversations that, you know, I'm throwing up there on the website, but you know, they're not going into the comments and having like, you know, what about this if I'm having trouble with this particular aspect of, you know, raising my kid or my career. So I definitely want to create a tool for women to use to have those conversations and to connect with each other. So like a kind of a living forum for women of color who you know, have career concerns and family concerns, or you know, just want the support of a community outside of their own. So that's it. And also, I'm working on a podcast. We're getting close to unveiling it in the coming months, and yeah,
Exclusive.
So yeah, I'm really excited about the possibilities up ahead of creating more content that is reaching women when they need it the most and how they need it.
And we definitely look forward to that. I'm very excited about all of those things. Tell everyone how they can follow and subscribe to MaterMea.
Yeah, so MaterMea is online primarily. We're at MaterMea.com. And you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under that same name, MaterMea, all one word. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me, Anthonia. Everybody be sure to do those things, subscribe. I think, you know, you'll find it extremely beneficial, whether you have children or not, because like Anthonia said, she's not a mom yet, but think about how much she's learned from those women, just career-wise or future down the line. So thanks everybody for watching Women Wednesdays.
Thank you. Bye.